to go to some of the cornerstones of this ITC organization to come to some conclusions of this ITC, and especially now that the microphones are all working. Can I ask our president and our vice presidents to reflect and conclude on this ITC?
You know what, I shall start so then I can sit down and watch the others work. I think I have already concluded. I love all of you. I really do. And, you know, as I said earlier on during this seminar or conference, you work for 1 year to make it happen, and then it starts and then it's over before you know it. So I propose we go on for another week. Is that okay? No? Okay. No, we all have to go home and we have our obligations to fulfill. It was a learning process for me personally, you know, to come to this conference. And I am convinced that ITC still has a long way to go. But with your help, we can really make it happen. As I just said earlier on, there's a lot of work you can do, trying to, not to convince people, but just to tell them what happened here, because it was very special. So I think that if we set out on that journey, I called it earlier, that amazing journey that started in 1875. And if we consider that, as Alcott said, you know, he didn't want to be labeled as a founder, but he wanted to be a former. We all are formers of that Theosophical movement. And you can help, you know, make this wonderful organization to be a better one. And then it really is not important to what tradition you belong. Very simply said, it was Betty Bland who made it very clear last year. If you want to go for core teachings, if you really want to know what these particular writers and authors had to share, we have a particular organization to help you out with that. If you want to elaborate further, there's another organization, but ultimately it all comes down, as we have proven here, to the same thing. It is often said in Theosophical literature that the only reason why we are here is to reach out to those who were less fortunate than we were. Let's not forget that. You know, we often get carried away with the things that we are involved in on a day-by-day basis. So if you keep that in mind, then I think there is so much to do within your own particular environment, and it does not matter what label it has been given. So my conclusion is that we have made another step forward, and I realize that in the process we might even have to make a few steps backward or make a mistake, because that's also human. But I think that with the theme we are having now, with the input of the membership, with all these things that we are developing to cross-pollinate and to get your most appreciated feedback, I think we're on the right track. But of course, we would love to hear from you if you feel that there are things that we could do better. My conclusion is, you're all beautiful. We have to remain critical. We should not tap each other on the shoulder or think, oh my God, now we have got it made. We still got a long way to go, but I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. This is my conclusion.
Well, I think a lot of things what Jan was saying, I think I'm fully agreeing with it. But I like to say another thing as well. I think we have quite an intensive year behind us. We work very hard on different levels. I have to make a lot of coffee for Jan in the morning. And all that discussions going on and all the preparations. But I think we have taken a step, maybe not a big one, but we have made a step. If you compare what we have done last year in Naarden, the first time that we have the opportunity to recognize all different branches. In the past, we didn't want to speak about different branches. Now we can speak about them. And we have really made a step forward. And I think we are absolutely not ready. And we also absolutely not finished with our job. We have just made a start. But I think this conference was really a good start to have comparisons in point of views. And that is the thing we can learn from each other. And learn so that we are able to go back to our home branches and activities and use what we have learned and spread out the Theosophy. And for me, that is such an important thing, want still I am under the impression that Theosophy is not having the right place what it really deserves. An absolute great teachings. We can spend many lives in this and grow on and grow on. And we grow into the future that there is no theosophical organization exist anymore. Because we are all theosophists by nature. And we need no organizations to put it around because everybody knows what it is and will do it. So between now and then, I think there's a lot of work to do. So it is a start. We're looking forward for next year's, and I must say, I found it a great event we had here together. Thank you all for your cooperation.
Well, good morning again, and obviously there's not much I can say that differs from my colleagues. I definitely have to say thank you to you for making this what it is. We just fill roles and you actually do the work, and somehow some of that benefit gets pushed up here, but it really all belongs back there. And also I must say, working with the board over the last few years has been a pleasure because it's demonstrated the importance of difference, the importance of struggle, and the importance of meeting problems where problems are to come to creative solutions that we don't hold on to as structures, but as steps in a process that move us forward. And so much of that has been demonstrated throughout all of these processes that have been going on, because life itself is a process. The declaration for my mind is summed up in spirit of unity and brotherhood. And interestingly enough, that was the one thing that Mahakoan letter emphasized so much last year and still resonates within this student as being ultimately important. And so these skandhas that have made up my outer organization this year have made this year, ooh, slipped, sorry, really have just made me a visionary and a hopeful visionary. And so I see here, and perhaps even in the future, ITC as perhaps really being that group that the Mahakohan was asking for, of minds that could embrace a teaching that could saturate the world. Because if we are truly using the core teachings of HPB, which was their message, and if we are working in unity and brotherhood, what stops us? You know, we're learning how to communicate, cross-pollinate. That is so important. Everyone is part of a family, and you know, if your family is not communicating, it's not working. If the communication is not honest, it's not working. If you can't feel safe enough to express, as was being mentioned in the meetings that have gone on perhaps last year with the struggle trying to formulate a declaration, if you don't feel safe enough to express your true feelings, there is no communication. But we're seeing that this can happen. And that's a blessing. That's wonderful. So I truly hope, and again, not so much me in any personal way, but as a visionary, I would hope that ITC, working beyond boundaries, working beyond borders, with theosophical principles, could really become a living power and moving force in the world with the ideas and principles of that theosophical doctrine. And I know this is really wishful thinking, but I believe that we can truly gain an idea of what, and it's blasphemy, I know, I apologize, seventh round, seventh race, at least in principle, should be like, and use that as a concrete goal. Because then we rise above all of the personalities and the differences that obstruct such a vision, and we simply do the work together with ideas, with creativity, with differences, and with struggle to create an organism that true life can express itself through. So I applaud each and every one of you for trying to make that effort come true. Thank you.
It's not over yet. Dr. Chittaranjan Satapathy.
Good morning, friends. I want to say 3 short things, and the third one first. On my behalf, and on behalf of all the Theosophists from the Adya Society, as well as all who have come from abroad and other countries, I would like to propose a vote of thanks for the excellent administrative arrangements that have been made by the organizers and make us very comfortable here. So I hope all of you agree and give it. Okay. The second thing I want to mention about the technical aspects of the conference, there is a joke on the Theosophists. It's credited to Joy Mills. I don't know whether she really invented it. And it's like this. A group of Theosophists were happily walking on a path. And then they find a fork, a road branching out. And there's a board saying that way to Nirvana. And there's another board saying way to a lecture on Nirvana. Where do you think all the Theosophists went? Well, they all went for the lecture. I was so glad that this conference was organized differently from having pure lectures. We had nice little sessions and workshops. I'm really glad, and I thought I would mention that to you. It's very difficult to organize international conferences. I have done some in my professional life as well as in the TSRDR, and I really think the organizers have done an excellent work. And the third little thing, recently my wife discovered a slip-up paper in Adyar archives where she works. And that was a slip-up paper, I believe, W.B. Yeats, an English poet, had written about Madame Blavatsky. And it goes like this. She had gone for a health checkup somewhere in England, and she was returning by train. And there was a young man sitting in front of her, and they got to talk to each other. And this young man says that these rum Theosophists, with some amount of sarcasm. The Madame Blavatsky said, yes, these rum Theosophists. Then he says that, and their leader, this rum old woman. So Madame Blavatsky says, yes, that rum old woman, H.P. Blavatsky, has the honor of talking to you right now. And obviously you can imagine that that young man was very puzzled and says, no, not that old woman, but another old woman. Okay. This actually taught me something, that we should not be taking ourselves, our personality, so seriously. I think S.P. Blavatsky could take a joke on herself and on all Theosophists. we should give importance to our work and why we are here in this life, on this world. But let's not give too much importance to ourselves. Thank you very much. And
this was not rehearsed, it came spontaneously. So we have been talking. Is there anyone else who would like to say something in this context? John? Come.
Last Thursday night, we began the conference with a letter from HPB, which began, "To live like cats and dogs is positively against all rules." And I'd like to thank all of the cats and dogs in this room. God bless you for being cats or being dogs.
Anyone else? No more cats and dogs? Okay, then we have a special treat. Ben, are you ready? Yes? We go back 1 year in time. All right? So let's have a look at the screen.